what is happening with you. I know what's going on in Milwaukee. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the 2021 NBA champions, your Milwaukee Bucks. And they've been waiting 50 years. So I'm going to say it again. Congratulations to the 2021 NBA champions, your Milwaukee Bucks. What a run. Who goes down 2-0 and then runs the fucking table? Your Milwaukee Bucks. Who keeps you dying on the vine for half a fucking century before they win the next one? Your Milwaukee Bucks. Who saw that tub of shit with the fucking basketball jersey and her giant flabby arm that made her look like a grandmother and she was still in the 20s because it was full of brats? Your Milwaukee Bucks fan base. Who probably created a new variant of the fucking coronavirus with 60,000 strong with no masks or condoms, probably? Your Milwaukee Bucks fan base. Jesus Christ, they should have put fucking COVID in liquid form and just put it into a crop duster and just fucking flown right over that goddamn crowd. Flown it right. What you tell young? I would hold my breath. You ain't gonna fuck with my freedom. I have the freedom to ignore science. I have the freedom to ignore common sense. I talked to somebody today and they were going like, I go, well, you didn't like what happened with polio? She goes, hey, not for nothing. I got a friend of mine and her kid got the polio shot and he had to drag his legs for 2 years. I was like, all right, so the kid had a reaction. Other than that, it went pretty fucking good, right? It's so fucking dumb. This I don't trust. You're full of shit that you don't trust it. Because I'll tell you right now, if they came out with a shot that gave you a flat stomach and abs, all of these same people, ain't fucking my freedom, they'd be right down there getting that fucking thing. Because all of those fat fucks, they go in for that lap band surgery. They go in for that shit knowing they could die. They don't give a fuck. Gonna get me some abs. Open heart surgery. People die all the fucking time on the operating table. If you need it, you're not going to get it. There's always going to be an example of something that, that went wrong. I mean, the Patriots drafted a fucking tight end and he turned out to be a mass murderer. What, are we never going to fucking draft another tight end? What the fuck are we doing here? You go out to a bar, you hit on some chicks, you get turned down, you go home, you have to jerk off. Are you never going to hit on women again? Does that mean hitting on women doesn't lead to getting laid at some point? According to these people, it does. What would you do? Part of me is starting to think, like, you know what? I think just some people don't have a dream or their dream died. So the only thing that they have is killing other people's dreams of getting on with their lives and making money, Or maybe it like the government telling them what to do taps into how much they hated as a child that they had to listen to their parents and how much they hated when they got into high school. They scared you. You need two years of a language. You got to have this. If you don't, you need an extracurricular activity. Do you remember the first night when you were on your own? I mean, I'm talking like with me, I commuted to college, right? I paid for most of my college. I had to work through all of that. I fucking pulled myself up by my bootstraps. I'm better than all of you. My first time being alone, I moved out when I was 27. I moved out briefly when I was 20 and then I had to go back to school, so I couldn't afford it. So I had to work and fucking do all of that shit. And it took me forever to get through college because I could only afford to go part-time. Boo-hoo, boo fucking who. Then I became a fucking comedian. And then knew I was going to move to New York, so I wasn't going to move out and blow all my money on some stupid fucking apartment in Boston. I stayed at home like a fucking loser and saved up enough money where I could survive that first fucking year of ridiculously high rent. And then hopefully I'd be in clubs and making enough money where I could swing my rent, which is what happened. But when I moved down there at 27, I remember the first night I was hanging at the comic strip. Lucian had basically already told me, I already have enough white guys. You and your dream can go right back to Boston. It's not going to happen. And if I was some white chick and there was Twitter, I could have got him fired for that. But instead, I just worked harder. Anyway, I remember that night sitting at the bar thinking at 27, I remember thinking clearly, like, you know what? I don't have to go home. I don't have to do whatever I want. I could do what I can get fucking drunk right now. If I knew how to talk to women, I could bring a broad home. I could get a fucking, I don't know, whatever the fuck I want to eat it, watch TV. I can do whatever the fuck I want. But you know what I thought instead? I was like, you know what I should do? I should go home and get some sleep. Wake up tomorrow and write some fucking jokes because the clock is ticking. And I'm going to run out of money eventually in this fucking city. And that's what I did. You know, that was an analogy to tell you to go home and get your rest. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. But congratulations also to the Phoenix Suns on an amazing, amazing run. You can't hang your heads. Even though you're up 2-0. It fucking happens. Shit, I remember the 86 Red Sox were up 2-0. We won the first two in New York, Shea Stadium. I still remember coming home, getting out of my car. My neighbor just came home, and we were our teenagers. I remember galloping sideways in a circle with him, jumping up and down, thinking we were going to win it, and we fucking lost it. So it happens every year. You know, whatever, 29, 30 teams don't win it. Only one team does. I don't subscribe to this. They didn't win because this guy blew it. This guy never gets it done. You know, I was watching Jim Rome, and he was kind of getting on Chris Paul a little bit. He's never done. He's the only guy that this is the third or fourth time being up 2-0 where he's lost a series. And it's like, I don't think Chris Paul is your problem. He's one of the best players in the league. Like, is it his problem that he can't drag the rest of the guys over the fucking wall? You're gonna go after the star player. I've just never understood that. But he was just saying that it's a pretty wild stat. I've never fucking, no one else has a thing. But it's just like, well, here's another wild stat. You're the only guy I've ever seen get tipped over in a chair on his own show. I still watch you. I don't think you're not getting it done. But that's a pretty wild stat. All the people that have done sports shows, I've never seen a guy have the guest tip him over in a fucking chair after basically an 8-year-old on a playground argument. I bet you won't. I bet I will. Go ahead, do it. And then he does it. I mean, it was embarrassing. It set men back like fucking I don't know what. But I don't think he shouldn't have a show, and I don't think that he doesn't get it done. I've just never understood that. We didn't win the championship. Let's go after the best players. Let's go after the reason why we're here. I've never understood that, but I mean, I think that's just the way it works. So anyway, I'm excited to not be, my wife freaked out the other day when all that CNN bullshit was going on, which I fucked up was because usually whenever I trash one, I always trash the other, but that time I didn't. So Fox News picked it up. Isn't that funny? Which really proved my point that it's really not news. Because if it was news, they would have brought that up when I was also criticizing them along with CNN. It's sort of fascinating. But my wife actually started to read it. It's just like, yeah, it's not going to be in the news. It's going to go away, okay? 9/11 went away. That was on the front page for like 2 weeks, and eventually that went. If that went away, if that fucking tragedy went away, I really got to think after a couple days, my fucking whatever the fuck I said on a podcast is going to go away. Because she started to read it. I go, I don't want to fucking listen to that shit, your fucking version of what you think I said. But anyway, really excited, though, getting back to the Milwaukee Bucks, man. What a performance. Antetokounmpo, Middleton, Holiday, the whole fucking team. I really needed that white guy to hit those last two foul shots, and he didn't. You know what I mean? There is something about watching the NBA, where it's exciting, and then as a white guy, sometimes you get low self-esteem. It's like, Jesus Christ, can you get the fucking rebound? Hit the three. Can you hit the three? I'm not talking about European white guys. I'm going to say it, okay? American white guys need to step it up. That's actually not true because that white kid on fucking Milwaukee kills it. No, I'm sorry, on Miami kills it. I don't know the names, all right? I don't pretend to know the fucking names. I used to know names. I used to name names. But I just don't have the fucking bandwidth anymore with the kids. And I don't know. I think yesterday I had like that fucking Catholic guilt. Does anybody else have that? The fucking Catholic guilt that if you actually take a day off, I could be doing something right now. Dude, I laid around like a fucking goddamn grizzly bear yesterday. I didn't do shit. Well, I guess I took my kid to the park. But I do remember when I was eating ice cream with her, and I was kind of sitting there, and I was just thinking, like, this is what someday when I'm laying on my deathbed, this is what I'm going to think about, is that I did this, and I'll be happy that I did this, as opposed to, I got to go, man, I got to get this done. I got to do that. I got to get better at this. And I just like, you fucking relax there, Freckles. Why don't you sit down long enough to have a little bit of sunspots on top of your fucking head there? Jesus Christ, that's all I do is I just wake up and I just start fucking running around like a lunatic. You know what I did do the other day, which for any other people out there shaved their head? You know which is fucking great? If you have a fucking shaved head and you're on an elliptical, is to have the headband, on your head, man. It's the best. Then you don't have to fucking slow down and towel off your head, every 3 minutes after you've been on it for 10, 12 minutes. Then it just becomes, pouring down your face. It's actually great. I had it on. My wife was on the treadmill and she was just laughing at me. I was like, I know I look like an asshole, but it works. Now the great thing about getting old, you don't care what you look like. It's over. You're over the hill. And it's just going to get worse. So as bad as somebody thinks you looks, you know that this is the best you're going to look from now into the future. You're over the hill, right? There you go. Oh, geez, Bill, you explained something that we already understood. All right, everybody. That is the podcast. I'm coming up against it here before I go do the Verzi podcast. Once again, congratulations to the city of Milwaukee and all of their amazing fans. 60,000 people showed up to just stand outside and party. Talk about that is a fucking fan base, man. I actually went to a home game there a long time ago when they played at the fucking Bradley Center or something like that, and that was probably the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, sort of the depths of the Milwaukee Bucks drought. Kind of almost halfway through it, if a little bit more. But it's just great for the city. And congratulations to the Phoenix Suns on an amazing series, an amazing run, and all of that. They got a great team, and they got nothing to be ashamed of, and they will be back. That's what I think. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm fucking sticking with it. All right.